for somebody who doesn't devote all of his effort to actually being on LinkedIn, but rather to just sell my brand. Hope you understand. So now, there's another point that I would like us to know. We said, for me, in my own kind of denomination as a person, and my spiritual denomination, we have an understanding that there's something called the market scale of life. Hope you understand. But the point for us right now on this call is that we should look at how you have built your career scale. Do you really have a career scale on that LinkedIn? Because for me, I feel there are important things you need to do on LinkedIn, not just by mere checking people's status, checking people's new job announcements, congratulating people. That's not all. That's a form of engagement which is good for you. But there's a place of you strategically positioning yourself for visibility on LinkedIn. So what do I mean by this? You need to create a career scale. I mean, a scale surrounding you that you can easily tap into at every point in time to achieve your goal. Why are you on LinkedIn? We are there to network, right? And for most people, networking will help them get the job of their dream. So like I have it here, I said destiny is formed in the market scale of life. How about making a career scale? Have you considered this? Of course, some of us do it intuitively. I mean, it's not like we plan to do it, but we do it intuitively and we don't even know. But what is most important that I would like us to examine is what you should consider when you want to set up your career scale. One, skills upgrading. There are people over there on LinkedIn who are going to share items that will help you to better your skills. We have them on LinkedIn. I don't want to limit this conversation to LinkedIn. We have them on Twitter also. What do they do for you? They help you, right, to get access to platforms where you can improve on your skills. Just like we said the other time around on the page. What we are trying to do on the page, I mean, the objective, I mean, the overall goal of what we want to do is to ensure that people are actively engaged in profitable ventures, be it scholarship-wise or perhaps what we like to call career. Both of them are career related, right? But there's a subset of say, oh, in the job market or in the scholarship market. But as a matter of fact, over time we've realized that scholarship, when you get scholarship, you are getting a job indirectly. For most of these scholarships, you'll be entrusted with doing things, maybe a graduate assistant, or a graduate assistant, or perhaps a research assistant. So in the real sense, what we are saying is, at any point in time, what we are doing is looking for a job, maybe in scholarship form or in a direct form when it's not like a scholarship or a paid employment. Okay, don't let me call it a paid employment because every one of them are actually a form of paid employment. So what I'm saying is, scholarship is a kind of job, and this also is a kind of job. But at any point in time, you need to upgrade your skills. For scholarship, for instance, as a person who is interested in finance, if I think, oh, what I want to do next is an MBA, and the professor I want to contact, right, uses Python to do whatsoever it is it does in terms of analysis and the like, right? And as a person, I have to learn Python. And so many times on LinkedIn, I've seen the likes of Sunday Omotoye, or even on Twitter, here opportunities to learn Python for free. Oh, I hope we all are following, please. So that is you considering the fact that, oh, I need to upgrade my skill at every point in time. Who are the people that share this kind of opportunity? Connect with them. And I must say that most of us send connection requests, right, without adding a note. It's quite surprising to me at times when I see. I expect that when you're sending connection requests to a person, what you should do as a matter of urgency is to spell out what you are looking forward to in that relationship you want to create. Because I believe at every point in time when you click on connect or follow on LinkedIn, follow might still go without the message. Connect on LinkedIn that you want to connect with anyone. There must be an essence behind that connection. So for me, I usually spell it out. For instance, I was with someone, a recruiter recently, and we were talking, and he said he usually takes people. He takes people who present themselves better by adding a note to their LinkedIn connection request. It takes, it prioritizes their connection request to accept. And I asked him why does he have to go that far? He said it shows that the person is deliberate about that connection, right? The person is deliberate about that connection, and the person needs that connection. For somebody who probably just came on LinkedIn and saw somebody following someone, like LinkedIn will always suggest, and then you decide to connect with that person, can just click on connect button. Maybe the person doesn't need it urgently. Or somebody who put a note to it, you will know what the person is up to. So as a matter of fact, when you're connecting with somebody, please as much as possible trying to put a note. For me, depending on the person I'm relating with, the person I'm relating with will determine the kind of note I put to it. Okay, on another front also, please, if you have a question, please just leave it in the message box, right? So another point to note is that you need to also have the network of people you are impacting as a person on LinkedIn. No matter how bad you think it is, there's something you know that some people do not know. So connect with people who are beneath you on the ladder. Connect with people who are ahead of you in terms of skill set also. And the point is, the best way to view life at times is not by standing on your own. Actually, it's by standing on other people's shoulders. They have experience, right? So when you connect with people at the top rung, they are going to be sharing, in terms of skill upgrading now, they are most likely going to be sharing opportunities that took them to where they are. For instance, I have seen professors, sharing links to Python learning, sharing links to R learning, and all of these things. And what they are trying to do is to ensure that as many people as possible understand the use of those applications. Another point to note, right, is that your LinkedIn should be a place where you position for opportunities. This for me means connecting with the necessary recruiters in your industry. We have some people, they are known recruiters on, say for instance, on LinkedIn. Connect with them on Twitter, follow them. We have the likes of Samuel Akinloton, Idris Abdulgafar, and the like. Once in a while, Ansel on Twitter too. They post opportunities, and you don't want these opportunities to pass you by. So you position yourself in such a way that you see these opportunities whenever they share them. So you connect with these people so that you can see their content. The first point here is joining professional network. We have groups on LinkedIn and people don't know. We have Grad In on LinkedIn. From LinkedIn, you see networks like Finance Professional Network for people who are interested in finance. You see Society of Engineers. Connect with these people. Join their group. They share opportunities there. Having said that, you will see that the need for, there's a very important need for you to strategically do whatever it is you are doing on LinkedIn. Another point that I would like to note is you also need to engage with your network. We have seen people in instances where they just probably come on LinkedIn to check people's posts and walk away. No, it shouldn't be. When they are discussing subjects that you have an idea of, ask questions, contribute. That way, you are making, you are creating some level of familiarity within you and the authors of those posts. I hope it's making sense to us. So the point is, you need to engage with your network, and the more engagement you do, the more engagement you make on LinkedIn, the better it is for you as a person, because that helps you extend your network. It helps you extend your network, and which is a win-win for you, right? So another one is you also need to shun out quality content. You need to shun out quality content at every point in time. My time is almost up. You need to shun out quality content at every point in time. so that people in your connection we have an idea of who you are and what you do. For some people, through LinkedIn, I've seen people post up to 100 articles in a year. Somebody said, "This is my 100th article in 3 years." That's a very, very, very good move. People will know that this person, what sort of article does he post? Oh, he posts economic related article, finance related article. Oh, this person must be a finance person. When there are opportunities, they look for this kind of people on LinkedIn. Oh, the guy that posted the inflation report the last time, so it must be in finance. Oh, let me look out for this person. This person must be a very good person, considering the way the person writes. So, like I said, bring out, sort of quality articles, sort of quality write-ups on LinkedIn there. And also, more importantly, you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent. And further, the last one there, I said, you also, while being consistent, you must also ensure that your consistency does not make for you to trade off the quality of the content you are turning out. You don't want to be seen as a guy who posts things that are not quality, that does not make sense. Like we would like to put our balance here in Nigeria. So the point I'm trying to make is, post things that have quality. Create a career step for yourself. So much that there's any opportunity in time, just like when you're in a market scale, right? In the market scale, right? At any point in time when you need anything, you can easily contact your network for things. Oh, guy, I'm moving for my firm. Is there any opening at your firm? Oh, do you have any opening for the recruiters you've been engaging over time? Oh, do you, please, do you have any way I can learn Python? For those people who you are connected to on the basis of the fact that you want to upgrade your skill set. All of these things work hand in hand to make you a globally employable graduate. And you will see, I actually have a sphere, right, at the center of everything we have here, and pointing out Nigeria, that's where we are, as a matter of fact. But that's to communicate to you that all these points here are very important things you need to consider if you want to be a globally employable person. Don't forget, we are in a global village. The world is a global village, like we like to put it, right? So as a matter of fact, you need to make yourself employable globally. And if you want to do that, your connection should be deliberate. They're talking with people like this guy here, pointing at the fact that there are other things to know. Of course, we must have, by implication, mentioned some of these things. But I would like to point them out to you again. One of them is fill your LinkedIn network with quality contacts. We mentioned that before, but I need to spell this out very well. Also, at times you see people review your profile. When they review your profile, take time out to check who they are and also do a follow-up to review their profile. Do a follow-up to review their profile. Join LinkedIn group, like I said earlier, endorse friends for skills that they have. Like for me, you will see a lot of my colleagues have endorsed me for the skills that they've seen me shown a lot of progress in over time. And then, of course, I do same for them. So when I realize that they are very proficient in that kind of field, or perhaps they have distant skill set in maybe Microsoft Azure, I come in there and, okay, acknowledge that on LinkedIn for you. I endorse that for you. Another one is talk to people to recommend you. On LinkedIn, there's a need for that recommendation is very important. Your previous employer should be able to talk to you being a very good employee while you were with them, and that you've proven yourself in this, that. You, like, I saw a post about Samuel, the Mastercard scholar, where it was written for him, like he's a self-learning person who can easily grasp new concepts and ideas, and that he is self-motivated also. All of these things we speak on behalf of Samuel whenever anybody reads his profile, if that was done on LinkedIn. And then the last one is, you might not be talking all the time, you might not be starting, or posting all the time on LinkedIn, but you must always ensure to stay active. Being active is the way. Being active is the way. Someone that when somebody pops anything into your DM, you are able to respond as quickly as possible. I hope that makes sense. So, very as much as I would like us to keep expanding this and discussing it, the point is LinkedIn is a place for you to make yourself known. Not known the wrong way, like I said. Known positively for what you do. So that when there are opportunities that people want to share, of course, some people will even send the opportunities directly to your DM. Oh, we have an investment analyst to so place. Would you like to join us? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? And of course, that speaks to the fact that they've been following you. They've been hearing about you. Somebody must have recommended you. So, like I said, right? It is important to make yourself visible. So, I really appreciate you guys so far, and I will be willing to actually answer to any question you have at this moment. About
Okay, thank you, Ayodeji, for your time and this wonderful presentation you have made. Ayodeji, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I was saying thank you for your time and this wonderful presentation that you have made. It has indeed been a very, very educative and informative one. So we have a question from Iriti. Okay, so they are saying, is it...
Hello?
Hello, Ayodeji, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please.
Okay, so Iriti Ayo has a question for you. So they are saying, is it possible to be a research assistant and still be an intern in another company?
Like, is it possible to be a research assistant and still be an intern with another company?
Yeah, maybe getting.
Firstly, I think
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, please. We're trying to shed more light on the question.
Okay, so the person was saying like maybe getting to work during the summer break or something like that.
Yeah. I think what is most important is we should also specify that there's no anybody. There's no one can fix it, right? It's an human behavior issue. And as a matter of fact, when you entered into that research assistantship or when you got the role, you must have the time of your contract. Does it allow you as a person to do another job while you are a research assistant? On the other hand, also, are you in another man's land now where you cannot walk outside of the school premises? Or say you are abroad now, right? And then maybe stay in the UK and you are not allowed to walk out, or maybe in the US, you're not allowed to walk outside the campus. Is that so? If that is so, then you do not have to go against the rules, right? You do not have to go against the law. Since anyone who doesn't allow you to walk outside of the sphere and they know you are schooling on scholarship must have made provision for a living allowance for you as a person. I mean, the allowance must be such that it's something you can live on while you're there. So, depending on the terms of your contract, if your contract allows you, then go ahead. In as much as you can do it without it affecting your role as a research assistant, so much that they will now withdraw your scholarship or resign it just after a year, and you don't want such for yourself, most especially for those on the PhD program. So the answer is depending on the kind of terms that is in your contract as a research assistant and the law of the land where you are for students, I mean international students. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Ayodeji. So I think to conserve much time, I think that's all we'll be taking for now. So we want to say a very big thank you for your time As you can see, you have been very busy on transit. You're still not where you want to be. I understand the hurdles of Lagos anyway. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite Mr. Thompson. He works with one of the most prominent Nigerian oil and gas company in Nigeria. So, Mr. Thompson, if you are here, I'd like to welcome you.
All right, good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Thompson, you can.
Do I need to put on my video? Okay. All right, good day, everyone. My name is Thompson. I work with Nigerian Gas Marketing Company as a treasury officer. So a bit about me. Before now, I've worked in Stanbic, Union Bank, Meristem, and now with Nigerian Gas Marketing Company. And I'm happy to be here to share some of my some knowledge as regards positioning yourself for opportunities in Nigeria. I must appreciate the organizers of this program, Mr. Edeji and the First Class Leaders Network, for putting something like this together. I feel this is a wonderful opportunity, especially at this time where we have jobs shrinking and we have an increase in unemployment. I feel this actually a very good seminar to have amongst us. Okay, it's no news that unemployment is rising. We have economies that are shrinking. We have digitalization eating into jobs, job supply, and the rest of that. But in the midst of all this, it is clear that there's no enough jobs to go around for everyone. Why this is true, I've come to believe that even though there are not enough jobs to go around, there are actually jobs out there for people who are prepared and have positioned themselves very well. And you might ask why I say that. I spent just a little of 4 years, 3 years in the industry, in the labor market actually. But during this time, I've had a number of offers, up to 5, and I've had a number of processes I had to drop out from. So that goes a long way to tell you that there are actually jobs out there. It's just the ability to position yourself to take these opportunities when they come. Away from myself, I've also had a number of colleagues who had like, for the past 3 years when we met, they've had to change a number of jobs. They have to take a couple of jobs. And you're wondering, you're saying that unemployment is 27%. People are crying out there are no jobs. How come people afford to change jobs on a yearly basis? So that goes to tell you that the act of getting a job itself is an act and also a science. So it depends on what you're doing. So when you get things right, when you get the steps right, then of course you go a long way in making it easier for you. So for the next 35 minutes, I'm trying to share some practical steps that I feel would help us in achieving or getting to that level where jobs won't be a big deal for us, that we can go out there and apply ourselves and get as many jobs as we like. First is graduating well. It's no brainer that the first step to getting a good job in Nigeria, quote unquote Nigeria, it's graduating with good grades. We've seen from the adverts we've seen, you see that minimum of 2.1 and above. So 2.1 and above, that means if you graduate with a 2.2, it makes it a bit more difficult for you to gain your dream job. While it's a bit more difficult, that doesn't mean it's impossible. There are still other steps you could take and cut off that disadvantage. So graduating well. So if we have anybody that is still in school, that should be your priority, graduating with good grades. As I graduating with good grades, I know that a number of us have graduated and we're first class, and that makes sense. Now we are out in the industry. what's next for you. I feel like the next step should be choosing your career path. Choosing your career path. And when I talk about choosing your career path, I don't mean the wishful thinkings and the fantasies we had while we were in primary school. So what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor when I grow up. What do you want to be? I want to be a lawyer when I grow up. What do you want to be? I want to be. I mean, this is now going to be making a choice based on realities, based on information, based on its practicality. So you've graduated now, you have your good grades, and you're out there in the industry. I expect you to look at your grades, your course of study, and your skills, and try to get an industry. Look around for the industries that you feel you can fit in. So let's say an economist or a finance person, what industry can you possibly work? So we'll have the investment industry, we'll have the the consultancy industry, that's accounting, the big fours, the accounting, yeah. We can also work in companies, manufacturing industries as well. So these are opportunities for you. So if you studied maybe sciences, you should as well be able to cascade, to be able to analyze what are those opportunities you could fit in, where does your course of study place you. Why doing this? Our advice should be a bit flexible, because that you studied medicine, that you studied science, so to say, does not necessarily mean you have to end up in sciences. Because looking at the industries, you can see that a number of industries are have more opportunities than the others. So even while in to work what we study, to be in the industry of our course, we might not be possible for all of us to achieve that, because there are more opportunities in others than there are in the other ones. So the opportunities are not evenly spread across disciplines. So it's there for you now to carry out your analysis of the market, understand which industries are there and what opportunities, how can you fit into these industries. You can do that by getting mentorship. Luckily for our IT science students, and most of you have ITs, you do your ITs in firms and companies. So there, I think you're able to have some network, you're able to have some contacts you could look up to, ask questions. How far is this industry? How well entry level? What's the entry level structure like? What's the opportunities? What are the opportunities in this industry? And how can I get in? It's very important to ask these questions, because they will go a long way in helping you know what to do and what's next for you. The questions should also include, what are the skills that are required to start up, to get an opportunity in this industry? What are the prospects of this industry? Because whether we like it or not, some industries are quite volatile. Some of them don't have much prospects, and some of them are actually shrinking as a result of the economic crisis we find ourselves. So you need to understand the whole scope of the industry. And you could do that by, talking to your mentors. You can also go on LinkedIn, look at people's profile, look at where they've worked, how they started. It will help you understand their journey better. That will help you gather information about your industry. What are the names of firms in the industry? Some time ago, I was talking to a friend, a lawyer actually. So we were talking about KPMG, and he said KPMG is a law firm. So when you say KPMG is a law firm, so of course, I know that this guy has not researched this industry, because this guy probably will have been sending applications to KPMG as a lawyer and not getting feedback, and he's wondering where he's getting it wrong. So you need to know the industries the companies in the industry you want to go into. Try to understand the industry. What are the requirements of getting into an industry? And then that brings us to the next point, developing your skills. So now, first, I said graduate with good grades. Second, you have to choose a career path. And choosing your career path involves getting as many information as possible that you need to make a decision. It's not just about what I think or what I study necessarily. It's about the information I have and how well I think I can fit into this industry. Then from there, you now move on to developing your skills. Developing your skills, I can break it down skills into three places. We have your technical skills, what we call the hard skills. You have your soft skills. Then we have, let me say, the professional certifications. For the technical skills, they vary across industries. Let's say for us in the investment industry, when I was in the investment industry, we had the financial analysis, you had your financial modeling, you have valuation, business valuation. I mean, you needed to have a lot of presentation skills as well. So if that was the case, then if you want to go into such industry, then you're looking at acquiring such skills, because of course, those will give you an edge when you go in there, because you must bear in mind that the competition is very stiff and the battle is survival of the fittest. So you have to go a long way to put yourself out there to get an edge in the industry. Then technical skills for engineering guys could be AutoCAD, it could be your softwares. I mean, right now, the pandemic has kind of made it easier. We have a lot of online platforms. We have a lot of online platforms. I mean, you could go on to learn. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the paid ones, full paid, but it could be little. You learn as much as you can. Yeah. So that's it for technical skills. Communication skills. I think communication skills is very important. I mean, for us, first class graduates, or let's say good 2-1s, communication skill helps you, gives you the ability to sell yourself. You're going out there, the number of candidates, I mean, job for 10 for 100, you have thousands applying for them. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you distinguish yourself among this crowd? You must be able to sell yourself. We know you graduated with good grades. I mean, you've done a lot in your undergraduate days, and you have a lot to say. How do you package this? How do you communicate to the interviewer? How do you convince the interviewer to go on with you? These are very key things that can tilt the skill in your favor. Communication skills, I mean, is very key. I can't overestimate that. So I expect us, and how do you improve our communication skills? Practice. I mean, nobody knows it all. I mean, and most times we are all nervous when we try to talk to people. Actually, in such situations, it's normal to be nervous. Everybody is. But you have to practice. You have to practice, bring yourself to a level where you can deal with such pressures around and be able to sell yourself and sell yourself very well. Another skill that is key, another soft skill that is key is networking skills. I mean, from what Ayedeji said earlier, the LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a platform. But your ability to use that platform, you leverage on that platform to network. How do you reach out to people? I mean, you have to develop that skills, offline, online events. How do you make contacts? How do you network? Because a number of jobs these days go by referrals. And the problem is when it goes by referral, people say it's you know somebody, it's because you know somebody. But most times it's not because you know somebody. And knowing somebody is actually a good thing. And you don't actually need to be from a wealthy family or have a family that has contacts for you to know somebody. Right now, I mean, LinkedIn has made it easier. Engage people intellectually. I mean, they'll of course pick interest in you. Try to make them understand your interests and I mean how far they can help you. It breaks the barrier of having to meet people that are out of your class. But I feel on platforms like LinkedIn, you can actually do that. That's where optimizing your LinkedIn profile comes to play. Aside your soft skills, I mean, the other soft skills you have to acquire. I mean, team problem solving skills, I mean, teamwork and the rest. Those ones will come to full play when you actually get the job. Then the third one is the professional certifications. Out there, the competition is tough. That's what you just have to know. The competition is tough. You must try to get certifications as much as you can. And while getting your certifications, I mean, for entry level, I would advise that you don't go too specific. So as regards doing, as against doing maybe an taxation exam, maybe CITN for taxation, you could just go with ICANN that is broad because it kind of keeps your options open and not limits you or boxes you into a corner. You could also do finance, CFA, we have CFA investment foundations, that's free. Go to CFA websites and search for the investment foundation. It's a free course. You could do and get certificate. I mean, for non-finance graduates that want to pivot to the finance industry, I think that's actually a good start. Actually, also, if you have a first class, I mean, CFA also offers scholarship for both access scholarship and also for women. So you can as well apply for those scholarships, and that will also help you if you don't have money, if you can't afford to fund the exams. We also have ICANN. I think the ICANN scholarships as well. You also look at ICANN scholarship if you graduate with your first class and try to take those opportunities. I mean, for engineering, for sciences, there are qualifications that you feel that will make you better positioned in your industry. Go out for them. Try as much as possible to use them, to apply to go for this for certifications and get them. There will be a distinguishing factor. So now that you've now that you've developed the skills you need, you've armed yourself, first of all, you've armed yourself with the information about the industry, you've developed the requisite skills to break into the industry. What next? You prepare your CV and your cover letter. Actually, most jobs, I think all the jobs will require you submit a CV or a cover or okay, sometimes a cover letter as well. So those things are very key. If you say you're looking for a job and you don't have a CV, that means you've not started, basically. So CV is very important, and a CV should be able to tell your story. So your CV should be like a flyer that advertises the product. So can someone see your CV and want to have a chat with you? That's the question you should ask yourself. So if I pick your CV right now, will I still want to meet you? Is your CV catchy enough to get you an interview to the next stage? So how do you make it catchy? I mean, they're out there. If you can afford to, you'll give it to professional guys to help you come up with a CV if you can. But if not, I mean, there are a number of templates out there. Go to the net, search, you get a number of templates. Adapt, make edit them, put your CV there, make it very nice, tell your stories. And what I actually do is I have a CV, but I can wake up and look at my CV and I feel like, oh, this should be better. I can point these words separately. I could be going through someone's profile on LinkedIn and I'll see the way they express a thought. It could be like, okay, what they've done. And I feel like, okay, since I've done similar thing, and I feel like this kind of captures it more, I'll go back to my CV to edit, to make sure that I keep working on it, making it better, improving my CV as time goes on. It will get to a point where you have a CV that is almost perfect. Right now, these days, we have the ATS, the automatic tracking system that is used to shortlist candidates. So a number of jobs, due to the lack of jobs we have, so the few ones that are out there, you advertise a number of companies, a number of people, a lot of applicants are applying. So you might now have to reduce the number of people that have applied and the number of people you want to take. So companies these days are using ATS. So it's also important that you make sure your CV is ATS compliant so that it doesn't screen out at the first point of call. Another thing is, okay, I have some friends that you send a job opportunity vacancy to someone. In the next 5 minutes, the person say applied. I'll be like, you applied. You didn't even bother to go through the job descriptions. You didn't bother to go through the requirements for this job. So you just applied because you have a CV, probably you have a CV that says you like treasury management, and this is accountancy job. You have a CV that says treasury management, and you're applying for accountancy job. How does that correlate? So it's very important that when you see these opportunities, instead of just being in a hurry to just send in your CVs, you try to take time to customize your CV to suit that particular opening. You look at the requirements, you look at the descriptions, you try to coin, because most times when they use ATS, they use keywords actually to scan, to pick CVs out. So if you try to customize your CV with some of the buzzwords in the adverts to make sure they are the content in your CV. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean changing your CV overhaul. It might just be one or two words, one or two tweaking of English that to make it suit what you have in the advert before you send. Same thing goes for your cover letter. Make sure you have a cover letter, you reach your cover letter, you improve it over time. I mean, your first draft won't be the best, of course. So you have to keep improving. It's looking at your cover letter over and over and improving it as time goes by. That way, you would have a perfect, so to say, a better CV and better cover letter when the time comes up. Now you've built a CV, you have the information, you armed yourself with the information, you've developed skills, and you've probably expressed those skills in your CV. Then now it's time to apply. First, one important thing about applying is that you have to get the information before you apply, right? So how do you get the information? So some of us here, I know things might be a bit difficult, but it's very important that if you're a job seeker, you have an internet-enabled phone that can browse, basically. So you have to be out there. There are a number of job sites that you could visit, you could subscribe to, and you get notifications. I mean, daily notifications. I see you have Jobberman, Job Guru, Jobs in Nigeria. Quite a number of them. Hot Nigerian jobs, oil and gas jobs. I mean, these are all sites that you could subscribe to and you get notifications. When you get this information, that's when you are aware of it, that's when you can actually apply. So it's very important that you work on getting these notifications, you work on getting this information handy. And that way you could also get that it's, I mean, through your network, you could leverage on your network. I mean, even on LinkedIn, we have job adverts on LinkedIn as well. But you could leverage on your networks, talk to people in the industry, reach out to them, tell them about your skills. I mean, you've already developed yourself, right? You already built the required skills. You already armed yourself with the necessary information you need. So you can also just reach out to them, tell them about the industry, about your interests, your skills, and how you want to work with them. I mean, basically, you might not get positive answer from a lot of them, but you just need the 1 year for you to move on to the next level. So when you go out there, you apply. When you see the jobs, you apply. But even when the jobs are not being advertised, you can as well reach out to people in the industry, tell them about your interests. I mean, given your activity, your activeness on LinkedIn, you can also attract people to check on you. You can also look up to people. I mean, DM people and tell them what you want to tell them. I mean, given that you're active, I mean, they'll be more poised, they'll be more ready to hear you out and give you an opportunity, give you a chance. Then another thing is when job offers come, people, you now hear things like, they're already taking it. They've been people that they want to give it to, that these jobs, they are it's on merit. But this happens more especially for government jobs. I will tell you for fact that, yes, there might be some things that happen on the ground and the rest. But how would you know if you didn't apply? I mean, it's not like most of these applications you pay to apply. It's just a matter of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and you're done with maybe customizing your CV and you're done with applying. So why would you deny yourself the chance by saying that, oh, these guys already selected people they want to give the jobs, I don't need to apply, why do I need to apply, and the rest? So you need to be out there, be positive. I mean, even if they are taking one person, then why won't it be you? I mean, you have already developed your skills, you've already armed yourself with the requisite skills you need. So if you're going to take one person, why is it not you? And the fact is that, why would I say, no, you have to know somebody, you have to know somebody? I don't think I've ever known anybody for all the jobs I've done. I mean, go out there, give your best. You won't get all, of course. Obviously, you won't get all. But of course, over time, you see that you must get something to do and something that is worth it in the real sense. Then that's about application. You send out your CVs, and when you've done the right things, I think there is a higher chance that you get to the next stage, which is the interview and assessment stage. So the assessment stage is very key, and for most entry-level jobs, and you have to go through the tests, the GMAT, the SHL, I mean, Dragnet, the workforce formats, and the rest of them. So you don't need to wait till it is that time, like you already have the invite for you to start preparing. So that could be the same way you prepared for your exams in school. You can start preparing for this one. You don't need to wait for the invites to come. I mean, you can keep preparing because these things are key, and these are things that actually distinguish a lot of people. So you have a job advert, I have like 10,000 applying for it. Of course, you're going to write the test. I can assure you that text alone screens out more than 50% of the applicants. So that means that you have to practice to pass that test. And the text, most times, I know, you feel like it's basic mathematics, it's things you've done over time, you can always go there, but it's a technique, I can tell you for fact, because we are being tested in a timed environment. So you need to be very fast in your questions, you need to be very fast in answering the questions, and sometimes you don't even have to use calculator. So how do you do that if you've not practiced? So you have to practice. I mean, it just have to be like a full time, even if you're working, when you come back, you have to practice this thing, because you know that this holds the key to your breakthrough. It's going to be difficult for you to get an entry-level job without passing through this test stage. So why don't you start now? Try to perfect this stage. I mean, you have to solve these things to the point where you can even solve without using calculator, where you can also beat the time, where you understand how, especially for the abstract reasonings, if you solve a lot of abstract reasonings, you get to the time that the things that you run, the possibilities that you run in your head, before you do 1 or 2, 3 possibilities, you've gotten the movement, the pattern in the abstract. That's if you've practiced over time. But if you think that, okay, I'll go to the exam, I'm smart, I can go to the exam, I'll go to the test, and I mean, I'll do what I have to do. Then you might go there, it might take you more time to maybe decipher the patterns or the formula or what even the question is all about, and you don't have time. So at the end of the day, you're short of time and you're unable to finish. That also affects a lot of people. So right now, while you position yourself, start taking these tests, start preparing, start practicing. I mean, I think in our WhatsApp groups, a number of materials have been shared around. You don't need to wait till you get this invite to start. Look at it now. Start solving them. You don't like mathematics. You don't know mathematics. Get people to teach you now, because unfortunately, it is what it is. You have to get this right for you to go to the next level. When you've done that, the next level most times becomes the interview. Interview, the number of I think the time format for an interview, it could be a direct interview where you have the normal interview questions, tell us about yourself. Yeah, that's direct. It could also be assessment center where you have a number of other events. You have like the group case study. You have maybe a personal presentation. You have assessment same day. So the assessment center has a number of activities lined up as well. You need to get conversant with this. What are the activities and what does each of them entail? So for the interviews, it could be direct questions. Tell us about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What can you do for us? What can you offer us? Why should we choose you? Those are direct questions. It could be as well, it could be behavioral questions. Tell us about a time where you did this. Tell us how you coped with this. Tell us how you were able to achieve this and this and this. These are behavioral questions, and these questions are all online. I mean, no question should catch you unawares. For me, what I did was I have these questions written out on my notepad, and I tried to get answers to these questions. Same way you do your CV and your cover letter, I try to look at these answers and I try to review them over time, from time to time. I try to get like a best answer for each of these questions. I'm not necessarily cramming them, but I feel like if I have them written out, I will know some things I want to mention. Remember, this is an opportunity to sell yourself. And there's some key features that you have to mention to your interviewer, because you feel like those things we're able to, these are key selling points, so to say. So when I have these questions out, I look for these questions. Tell us about yourself. Can I meet you? These are same questions. So how do you answer them? I have them written out. I have my answers written out. Try to make them as short as possible. I mean, then over time, I try to improve them. I try to make it more catchy. I try to make it better over time. And doing that, you have like a better version. Remember, you go into a pressured environment, there will be a lot of tension. That will not be a time to kind of put straight your thoughts, to now start putting things together. But if you already have them handy, it will be easier for you to know, okay, I know I have to talk about my academic qualification. I know I have to talk about my job. And what part of my job do I have to mention in this interview? What part of the job I've done do I have to mention? I know the certifications I've done. What part of which certification do I have to mention? So you've already formed the flow in your head how you want to answer this question. So once these questions come, you can take it on easily. Same thing applies for the behavioral questions. So you don't wait till you get to the interview to start thinking about when you led the team. You don't need to wait to get to the interview to start thinking about, because this is a story. I mean, it's a story. And I think there's a format you have to put it. I think STAR, it's still about the problem, it's about the solutions and the response to it and the result. So I think when you go online, you will see some of the ways to answer these behavioral questions actually. But these stories have to be there. I mean, apart from you're someone that can actually think on your feet. But even if you think on your feet, I think that it will be better you have this answer somewhere. I mean, I already have a scenario. If you ask me about a time I led a team, I already have a scenario in my head that I will know I will talk about. So it makes it easier for me to put together my thoughts. Instead of me trying to, okay, which of them do I put? Because I know that that's my best leadership chance. That's my best leadership, what's it called? The best leadership example I can give at that point. So I already coined it, I already have the story intact. So when you ask me those questions, and I'm going out for you. I mean, I didn't have to cram them, but I just know which of the cases do I want to use to answer this question when they come. Tell us about a time where you have a time constraint and you have to beat the time constraint. Tell us about, so these questions, instead of you waiting to think on your feet, I mean, when you're thinking of it, I trust you can't be better than when you've taught over time. When you've improved it over time, you can't be better than that. So why don't you just prepare it ahead of time, go through them, improve them daily. I mean, improve daily. You go online, you read about some skills, you see that, okay, this words better suit, this words better conveys the meaning of what I want to say here. You go change it, make it better. That way, you already have answers to almost all the questions that will be coming in interviews in your head. That's one part of it. The second part of it is the technical question. I mean, if you are in finance, so there are a number of questions they could ask you about the economy, current happenings, and the rest. So it's important that before you go for interviews, that you also update your knowledge of the industry. What's happening in the industry? Are there new trends? What's happening? And just make sure you arm yourself with that information. It's very key and very important to acing your interview. There are sides that you have to know about the company you're interviewing with. So you go to an interview and you don't know who the MD of the company is. You don't know the subsidiaries. You don't know what they do. I mean, that tells the interviewer that this person is not actually serious. So before you go for interviews, make sure you take out time to actually look up the company you're going to, what they do, who are their managers, the management level. I mean, now these days, they still ask up to mission and vision. And it's very key. And you can also, most of your answers, you could coin them around the mission and vision statements of the firm. I mean, it makes you unique. It makes your story compelling. So if I know that integrity is key, like for this company, integrity is one of their watchwords, one of their core values, then I can, in trying to explain some things, I might try to put in maybe cases where I showed great integrity, cases where I could have easily be compromised and I stood my ground. I just try to convey, I mean, pass that message across. So the interviewer is already seeing you as a good fit, both for the culture of the organization. So I think that's it for the interview. I mean, the other things you have to just look up online and get as much information as you can. After that, you're done with the interview now. The next step is feedback, your thank you. One key thing during your interviews is preparing a question for the interviewer. I've seen a number of cases where they ask, any question for us? And you go, no. Or you ask questions that you feel you should have known. For me, actually, that has been my secret. So whether I do well in an interview or not, before the interview, I kind of pick questions that would bring us back to the conversation table. So when I ask those questions, the interviewer will have to either explain. I mean, that brings another form of conversation to the table. So when I ask these questions, like, okay, I know these are the challenges that are facing your company because you researched the company, so you already know a lot about them. So you could go like, I know these companies in this industry are facing these challenges, and these challenges. Have you looked at what are the steps you're taking to tackle these challenges? Have you looked at if there's anyone you can come, if maybe you have some solutions? Have you guys looked at this? What are the options you have? And I mean, that goes on. So the person feels like these guys are actually researched this company, and the person actually goes. Most times when you ask the HR, they now see the managers to answer. I mean, that's kind of a way of creating an impression with the interviewer, right? So most times I've asked what portfolio distribution, what's the portfolio strategy? How do you build a portfolio? I mean, most times they went on laughing. They said, when you join us, you get to understand. I mean, that kind of leaves a lasting impression on the interviewer. As against, do you have a question for us? No. Or what's the, or I mean, you ask questions that are not deep enough, are not detailed enough, or questions they feel like you should know. So that's actually a secret. Research on questions about the firm, just key questions. If it could be personal, I mean, I'll ask someone that I've seen you worked, I checked up his profile, I've seen you worked here, and here, and now you're here. How do you compare working here to where you've been? And how was the transition for you? I mean, that was the question. The person has to talk about his personal life, and everybody likes talking about themselves. So he went on and on, and they have to start telling him that it's enough, it's okay. How about that put interview? I mean, that way, you kind of caught his attention, right? So while you've done other ones right, you also want to leave a lasting impression on your interviewer before you leave. And asking good questions is actually one of the ways you can do that. Then if there are Q questions, if you ask those questions, you could do a thank you message. You could send a thank you message after the interview if you have the interviewer's contact. But if not, I mean, you wait for the best. One thing you must bear in mind is that out of all this, you need just a yes. It doesn't mean that when you do all this, you're going to get all the jobs to apply for. No. But what happens is that you're better positioned to get. So out of 4 or 5 you're putting out there, there's no how you don't get. You just need a yes. So even when you get your no's, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged when you get the no's. Keep working out. Keep looking at your CVs. Keep looking at your answers to your interview questions and see how you can make them better. Keep working on your assessment test questions and how you can make them better, how you can get better at them, and keep networking. Keep expanding your network as well. Reaching out to more people, send out more mails. These days, when I go to my mail, I look at my sent items and see number of mails I sent to people. I mean, I don't know, it's just funny. I sent a lot, and just very few of them go back. But I mean, just in the years for you to move on to the next level. You could do that. You could chat them up on LinkedIn. You could chat up the recruiters. You could. I mean, there are a lot of things you could do now. These days, recruiters reach out to people on LinkedIn. I've had a number of recruiters reach out to me on LinkedIn. So when you do what Ayo has said, position yourself, optimize your LinkedIn properly. I mean, you could also be getting recruiters hits on your page. You'll also be getting offers from there as well. Then while you wait, you don't necessarily have to stay at home while you wait. We know we have dream jobs and where we want to go. I think it's very important that you start up small. You can take up anything as long as it gives you time to look for other ones. Also, it gives you money that you could use to fit your expenses. Because when I started after graduation, I worked as a teacher. I joined a primary school actually, where I taught for my 4. That was notwithstanding that I was a first class graduate and had very good results. But taking that job helped me particularly. I was very busy. Then secondly, when I got an invite to Lagos, I could foot my bills comfortably. I didn't have to wait on someone to borrow me money, lend me money, or how do I get money, or my parents to give me money. I could, comfortably get a bus ticket and leave for Lagos. And comfortably get some, the suit, dressing, because dressing is another key aspect. When you're going for interviews, it's also key you dress properly. So I was able to afford, a normal suit for myself to go to attend the interviews. So as against staying at home, saying I'm waiting for a dream job, I'm waiting for a dream job, I'm waiting for social jobs, and you're getting broke and you're becoming a liability on others. You can take up little things. Why not losing track of sight of the future? But take up that to solve the short-term problems while also preparing. And what it does also, being engaged, like for my first internship, I worked on my desk. I sat with a manager. So that manager, other managers from other units were coming to see her. And in coming to see her, they kind of strike conversations with me because I was just sitting beside her. So that helped me with before now, when I see top management, I'm shivering. I feel like, how do I meet up? How do I speak to these people? But then sitting with her, having to talk with someone, just made me kind of confident, bold. So I went into an interview, even if I'm seeing your MD, I don't know, it's your MD, it's your MD. I'm kind of now used to having such high level people sit with me. But then I wouldn't have done that if I didn't take up the internship. It could be internship, it could be volunteer jobs, as long as they foot your bills or add up to the level of experience, give you some level of experience. You never can tell. Those things will be things that you need to, will be a distinguishing factor, to be the edge, what will give you an edge over the next person. Why would you all this? It's not of him that runneth, but God has shown it mercy. They still hold, whatever your religious belief is, hold tight. We still believe that the supernatural controls the physical, but that doesn't mean that we should leave our faith. We should try as well to do what we can do and let God or let supernatural do the rest for us. So while we've done all this, commit your ways to God. That's it. He knows best what best He wants you to be, and know what, because some of these opportunities we think are great opportunities, and when we miss them, we are already crying and the rest. These things are not actually meant for us. We have people that rushed, got maybe in oil and gas jobs, and Corona is here. Most of them have been laid off. So most times it's He that sees beyond now that will commit your ways to for Him to guide you. So you need to raise up and draw yourself closer to the God and hold Him tight. Then I have to just speak. I missed out actually when I'm getting information about your industry. I think I missed that out. So the nature of your industry determines whether it is very important for you to go for masters before taking the job, or should you take the job, then go for master's later? So I see that this is a topic, a trendy topic right now. People feel like I'm out of school, should I go for masters? The truth is there are some industries where it's allowed. It makes sense for you to go for masters straight ahead and come back and join later. But I don't know. I can speak for the finance industry because I think I started there for a long. I don't think it gives you an edge, actually. I don't think it actually gives you an edge. I feel that you should only do that when age is on your side or when you don't have intentions of coming back to the country. So if it happens that you come back, because during my entry-level jobs, I've had people that have second degree, masters, MBA, and we all started at the same level. Then imagine the person that comes back and has gone beyond 26 years. Then that's where you now see people that, oh, this guy come back, this guy is back, he has masters, and there are no jobs for him. Because for the finance industry, you have the entry level, you have experience higher. And what would move you from entry level to experience higher is the number of years, the number of experience you've had, and not your school certificate. That's for the finance industry. I still know that, maybe for the sciences, maybe your number of researches you've done and the rest could also be an advantage for you. But it's industry specific. Before you take a decision to leave, make sure you've weighed your options and know decision you want to take. With that, I think I'll wrap it up here. And I'll be available for questions. If you have questions, you can ask. And once again, thank you for being here and listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thompson, for your time. I mean, this is a lot. You have this is very, very wonderful of you. I mean, it was very, very all-encompassing and very, very informative. So please, if you do have questions, you can put it in the chat box, please. Okay, I think we have one from Gift. Okay, so Thompson, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Okay, so she's saying, considering nepotism in Nigerian work climate, what advice will you give to graduates who have been trying to get jobs for years with no avail?
Nepotism.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I think that no organization will actually go out there and hire 100% from based on who I know, like people that I will know. I think for all recruitments, I think and I strongly believe that there will always be quotas for merit. I think strongly because I mean I've worked in government, I'm working in a government organization, I've worked in private sector, I mean individual owned private sector, I've worked in a public sector, a publicly listed company. And in all this, I can tell you for a fact, there is always room for merit. There will always be that quota for merit, no matter how small it is. So nepotism is a problem we have. It's a problem we have in our society, and I can't stand that. But when you position yourself, that merit, your target shouldn't be about who they employed, whatever way they employed them. Your target should be that merit slot. Let me be the one to get it. That should be your target. That merit spot, I'll be the one to get them. I'll be the one to get that merit spot. And I think when you've done all this, I feel and I strongly believe that you will get it. When you've done all you should do, you've equipped yourself properly, armed yourself with both information and the skills you need. You've developed your communications, you're able to sell yourself properly. I think that if there's a space for merit, you will get it. And no organization, I still doubt any organization will recruit 100% based on who you know on nepotism. So that's my response to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. So the next person is asking if there is a difference between CV and resume.
I think that there is actually, but it's very the line is very blurred. I mean, they are used interchangeably, but I think resume is for fresh graduates that have a limited work experience, while your CV is for those that have experience. So if that's the difference, that means your resume should be shorter than your CV, since it assumes that you don't have much experience. Then on your CV, you can now go more elaborate in explaining what you've done, your responsibilities, and your skills. I think that it's so you can still check online and see if there is. I think that is the key.
Yeah. But I think in Nigeria they are both used interchangeably. So
Yes. I think there's no difference really. In our climate, you can use them one or the other. It doesn't really make a difference.
okay. So this one is my own question personally. Okay. So as much as we want this career growth they are talking about, I feel like nobody's talking about money. Like it's kind of important. So are we allowed to discuss? Are you allowed to discuss salaries in the interview process, like during the interview? Or how do we talk about it? Because I feel some companies do maybe underpay or they take advantage of your desperation to get a job and just give you whatever they feel like. So how do we go about that?
So I think since we have a HR person that's coming to talk to us after, it will be in better place to answer that. But I think I can lend my voice to it a bit. Pay. I mean, money is very important actually. Money is very
So
important.
like everybody keeps to skip it as if it's like it's
So
not
money is
about the
very
money. But then
So when I was talking about gathering information about your industry, firms in your industry, I mean, also looking at the ones that pay well should also be part of the information you get, right? So, I mean, you could go to Naira Land. I mean, Naira Land, you see, though they are not 100% correct, but at least you get an idea of what it is in what the firm actually pays. So for a company trying to underpay you, right, because you don't have a job, I mean, this world is a capitalist environment. I mean, people try to prey on others and the rest. But it's you knowing the value you want. I mean, what's the least you can take, right? So this is an opportunity. You look at this opportunity, you feel like this opportunity it might not necessarily be where you want to end up, but you feel like, let me take this job and while I wait for the dream job, or let me take this job while let me just take this job, basically. Then what's the minimum you're willing to take? I mean, having looked at your expenses, look at what you call your upkeep and the rest, what's the minimum you can take? I mean, when you give them that minimum, I mean, and you still want to go below that, giving your assessment, I mean, prior to this time, you already have information about the company, right? You already know how big the company is. You already have that. So you wouldn't go to a secondary school and be asking for 100,000. So of course, you already know about all those things. So giving your own minimum, what you think you can take. If they are unable to pay that, then I mean, you can move, you can let it go, right? But it's all about you giving that value. I mean, when you're giving that value during the interview process, I doubt anybody will actually want to shortchange you. Everybody wants to miss out on the talent, on what you bring into the table. I actually doubt. But if that's what they actually can pay, then you look at it and you can afford to manage that. I mean, depending when you get something much better, why not? You can take, they all count for experience. You can take that while you wait.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I can say.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Thompson, for your time and this information that you have given to the network. I mean, it's very, very like I think people pay for this employability stuff, these key insights and information. I mean, so thank you for your time and energy and effort. We really do appreciate. So if there are further questions, please you can put them in the chat box. Okay, so due to unforeseen circumstances, our third speaker cannot make it to this program. I mean, and we do have another session by 5. So I think if there are other questions, please you can drop them in the chat box. And in the absence of that, I think we can call it a day. I want to say a very huge thank you for everyone who attended this program. Okay, is Thompson still here? I think there's a final question.
Yeah, go ahead, I'm here.
Okay, so Can there be occasions where following up after interviews is seen as a sign of desperation?
I don't think you can go bad with following up.
Okay.
I don't think you can go bad. So it still depends on what you write, right? It still depends on. So if there are points that you feel like you should further buttress, right? I mean, if there are points you feel like you need to still speak on, or points the interviewer to, and you feel like it will be key in making a decision, follow up, you could send that and end up with a thank you. So it depends on what you write actually. So as long as you keep it professional, you keep it come up with something good. I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think that someone that has already marked you for the job will remove your name because you sent a follow-up mail. But I know that if you can put out a very good follow-up letter, a follow-up message, email, I think even if we are not marked before time, that could put you in running for the job. So I don't think you can go wrong with a follow-up letter as long as you've written what you wrote, it's proper and it's very okay.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Gifts. Okay, Thompson, once again, thank you very much. We appreciate your everything. I mean, it's a lot. So, in the absence of further questions, I think we can call it a day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thompson, and thank you so much, Abbas. That was really wonderful. Just to put it out there that tomorrow we still have a webinar on creative writing, and so if you have some time, please make it a date with us tomorrow, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. West African time. Thank you, and have a good evening.